running. Waiting for electronic. Here we go. Brilliant. Right, pop out the chat. Put that near the camera so it doesn't look like I'm looking up at everywhere else. Get that. Actually, just going to do a mic check. Mic check, mic check. Don't know why I did that. But it works. Right, cool. So anyway, welcome to number 14 of the Electronic Life series. Boop. With cool effects. Hey, Elliot's here. Anyone who doesn't know, this is a series where I take apart, build, and do random stuff with technology. And try and kill lots of little flies that are flying around and bugging the hell out of me because I've got plants. Anyway, so today, this isn't planned. I didn't plan on having this thing. Did not plan on having it at all. But I go for coffee with a mate, and we always have a little wander around town. And I ended up buying this. There's a backstory to it as well. Just while I do this, I've got to stick that in. There we go. I did promise I'd email someone who works in the same building as me, actually. Mr. Steve. Yeah, anyway, so back to what I was talking about. This thing. This thing has been in my local cash converters for £400. So UK pounds, that is roughly 120 to 40, about $480, I think. Hold on, let me do the check. Alexa, what's 300 UK pounds in dollars?
£300 is about $373 and 47 cents.
I forgot the other 100 quid, so we're looking at about $480. That's how much it was for. Personally, I wasn't going to pay that because I've built one of these in the past. So I'm going to show you what I built in the past. I'm going to put this on full screen. Bob. There, that's inspect element. Right, so let me demonstrate. So in the past, when I was a wee lad, so about 6 years ago, I made a cabinet. As you can see, a prototype made out of cardboard. Configured it using the Raspberry Pi. That's just a Pi in a case with an Xbox controller. Lots of cables, and there it is, made out of cardboard. And I just didn't put a monitor in it. I just wanted to do a rough template. The plan was I was going to buy some plywood and make the case myself, but it turned out it was cheaper to buy a kit online. Now this kit cost me about £60 UK pounds to get plain MDF, unpainted, so I ended up painting it. Now the plan was, this is for my grandkids. So there's the two elder boys, and a younger boy, and their father as well. And I painted the cabinet, drew some characters on it from templates. So I did cheat a little bit. Sonic. As you can see, that's how I did it. I drew the design on a piece of paper, went over it with pencil, turned it over, scribbled on the back, and it leaves behind a faint outline of where you're going to draw it and paint it. It's super cheaty, and I drank beer while doing it because obviously I am British. But I was able to make a cabinet. You can see all the gubbins that go towards making one of these cabinets. I did use some masking tape and I had to paint the side again, which was really annoying. It made a right bodge of it, so it took me a long time to fix that up. But you have to put go faster stripes on stuff, otherwise it doesn't run fast enough. but I think I captured the 1990s, late 80s vibe. There you go, a bit better quality there. Gives you an idea of size. So it's about the same size as the new one today. And I believe, there we go, people playing Tetris on it. Yo, Gator RBX. So as you see, it's running an emulator, playing games. So that's one. Ooh, that's really jittery. Sorry about that. So anyway, that puts a bit of context. That cost me about £290 in total to make. And I've always wanted to make another one because one, I gave that one away. And that's really annoying when you give stuff away you really like. Even though I made it for someone else. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. Oh, that was about 5-6 years ago, actually. Actually, there'll be a date on the pictures. Hold on. January 2019, actually. So it was not as long ago as I thought. So it was the Christmas before COVID. So it's quite good for them during COVID. They were able to play that quite a bit. This, though, was, like I say, about $470, $480 in cash converters. But today I tell you, and I told the wife I was going to buy this. She told me I'm not allowed to buy this because it was 400 quid. But today I went in and checked it out. Can't really see very well. Let's peel that off. Look at that. £79.98. So, about $100. I sent her a picture. The exact message was, let me load it up so I can tell you exactly. Remember that arcade machine and cash converters? They don't have it anymore. Oops. And as the thumbnail says, she put, where's that going? We're supposed to be getting rid of stuff, not buying more. Because we have, and you can imagine, you've seen me make stuff and take things apart. We have a house full of crap. I like to buy things. I like to take things apart. I've got piles and piles of comics, of figures, of technology. I've got drawers that you open and they're just full of cables that I'm never going to use. But I can't get rid of them because I'm a bit of a hoarder that way. So what I'm going to do today with you guys is, first off, I'm going to plug it in blind. I'm not going to look at the back. I've not opened this up. This isn't one of those moments where I know everything about this case. That's what, all I know is that. I've seen it running in the shop a couple of weeks back. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to see how it plays. Now, as it described on the paper, as you can see there, hoping it's not reversed for you guys. After several games, the down button stops working. If something's running for a length of time and then stops working, it's usually heat. So if that's the case, just get some decent airflow to it, should fix it. However, this thing's bloody heavy. I had to carry this probably only 600 meters from the shop to where I work, and it was not comfortable. And if anyone knows, if you carry anything heavy with both hands, first thing that's going to happen, your nose itches. Second thing that's going to happen is your trousers start falling down. That's just the rule of the world. That's more... I was moaning all the time, you're correct. That is the absolute truth in life. That if you're carrying something heavy, your nose will itch and your trousers will start falling down. So I had to get back to the office before I stood in the street with a little pee-pee hanging out with an itchy nose. Nobody wants to see that. Got in, brought it upstairs. This thing weighs an absolute ton. So my suspicions before I open it, and we did have a conversation, me and Anthony, is I think there's a PC in there. I'm thinking it's one of the Dell form factors, you know, the small form factor Dells. But it doesn't need to be a PC. Or if it is a PC, it doesn't need to be a big PC. One thing that it could be is a Raspberry Pi. That will run emulators beautifully. You can emulate your games, you can actually download legitimate copies of games that you own, and you can also download public domain stuff. There's a whole source of wealth of public domain, and there's the arguable arguability. That's not a real word. And the argument's probably mute as well. But you could argue that for dead consoles, where they're not making and selling the games anymore, you are archiving. But I'm not offering any advice or telling people they should do that. I think legally that is very dodgy ground. So my advice is do everything as legal as possible. There's plenty of public domain stuff out there. People have remade Mario, a bit like people do Gorilla Tag clones. They've remade them from scratch. Rewrote the code, it looks and plays like Mario, but it's not Mario. It doesn't actually have Mario stuff in it. So there's an option for the future, one of these. Another option is another small PC. Again, I haven't looked inside. I might open this up and be utterly surprised and find that most of it's a power supply. But yeah, there are other small form factors out there. So this thing's tiny, weighs very little. Got a bit more oomph and upgradability than a Pi. Stick an NVMe in it, you could have a few terabytes of very fast storage. It's got different outputs on the back, plenty of USBs, multiple monitors. It is from cache converters. It might have a brick in it. If it went through the window and got caught inside it. So, like I say, my plan right now is to plug it in, find out if it even powers on. Now I've seen it powered on. Let's explore this together. Change screen. Oh, I've also got, look at this. It's not a Steam Deck. I'm not quite ready for a Steam Deck. But I can switch scenes. Super easy. And also this one. Say one of you say something stupid. Brr. How cool's that? Been waiting to show you like that. Exactly, I'm a pro streamer. I've got my first hoodie arriving actually. You know, I said I've got some merch. Not that long back. Probably about a year ago. I said I was getting some merch soon. I've got a sample hoodie arriving. I went for the premium one. So it's like 40 quid, but it might be nice. But if it's premium 40 quid and it's crap, I'm not using it. I'm not going to sell crap. I am going to wear my Electronic Wall merch in public. I will. Right. Let's plug this thing in. One thing I do know is I tripped up this. I picked it up, walked away, fell over this. Thankfully I didn't fall over. I just stumbled. And in the back of it, I do know there's just a 4-bar. So that tells me a lot of things about this cabinet. Let me switch cameras actually. Yeah, it tells me a lot about this cabinet. In the fact that it is homemade. There just isn't... If I was to make this cabinet, I would put on a kettle plug on the back. So it was self-contained. In fact, on the one I made, I did do that. A bit like we put on the back of that speaker. But let's plug this in and find out if it goes bang. Oh, it's not gone bang. I can't hear a fan, and it just said D-box. Can I hear a fan? Right. Some more hints. I can't actually hear a fan. So that suggests it might be a board rather than a PC. So it's a Pandora Box 6. I'll have to look that up. Let's look that up. Let's switch to that so you can see what's going on. So the Pandora Box 6, and it's a tabletop. Tabletop. Is that the one? Okay, well that's only £350 new. No surprises there if it is from Cache Converters. Ah, that's the one. So $310 in the States for the same cabinet. It looks like you can probably buy some stickers. I don't know what's inside. I don't want to cheat and look inside yet. No, I'm not looking. Until I open it up, I'm not looking at what's inside. So yeah, you can buy cheaper versions online. Now the good thing is, if it is a Pandora Box 6, that probably suggests that the games are on it are licensed and legal. So let's have a look what we've got. There's obviously clearly a lot of fighting games. I'm going to say PlayStation level stuff. Road of the Sword, Oriental Legends Plus. Let's go into indexing mode. Fighting, action, shooting. Let's go for shooting. Mars Matrix, Giga Wing. 1944. Every game machine has 1944 on it. R-Type. Nice. R-Type Leo. R-Type 2. Firehawk. Metal Black. I'm not going to name everything, just the ones I recognise. There's 131 pages just for fighting games. Shooting games. Airwolf. Yes, that's the one I remember from as a kid. P-47, the Phantom Fighter, Aero Fighters. I'm not seeing many names I do recognise. I suspect they probably licensed a couple of games and then filled it up with loads of copies or cheap games. Or the 1940 something. Starfighter. That's just the Gallagher clone. That's a point. Has it got Gallagher? Nothing seems to be in order. I will say that there's no A to Z. Gallagher. There we go. It's got Gallagher. Can't go wrong with Gallagher. Right, let's shoot 'em action games. Oh, that's Street Fighter, Metal Slug 2, Metal Slug all the way to Metal Slug 6, Warriors of Fate, Dynasty Wars, Guardians, Ghosts and Ghouls. Yep. I love that one. So apparently it's 720p. Normally the volume switch is press and hold something. Woohoo! Oh, nah. Anyway, I don't want to get caught up in playing the game too much. So I'm quite pleased with that anyway. The fact that it's a licensed machine, the Pandora 6, that gives me some hope that inside it's going to be decent stuff. So, should we go and have a look? I'm going to unplug it. One, because the last thing I want to do is any more electrocution videos online. But it doesn't ring true that it's not homemade. We've got door hinges on the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that. Probably, oops, wrong one. Ewish. Yeah, we've got door hinges. They're not even central. They're just sort of wazzed in anywhere. And it's held together with sellotape. So let's open it up. Okay. Right. Wait there. I do have something for you guys. You guys. Right, wait. Wrong one. Oh, no, that's broken. That's just my ugly mug at a funny angle. Let me sort that out. No properties available. Right, sorry about that. Got my ugly mug. So looking in here, obviously we do have just a 2-bar going into it. Not the best construction in the world. We have we've got an on-off switch for speakers. Not sure. A monster of a monitor. Look at that. And then we've got the Pandora box down there. So it looks like they may have. What's that? I think it's got someone's keyboard adapter in it. So someone's not using their remote, no wireless keyboard anymore. Oh no, SanDisk. It's an external drive. Right, I'm going to pop this down because I'm moving you all over the shop and that must be annoying. Yeah, it's got a tiny micro USB drive in the back of it. Put that out and have a look. So small, I can barely get my fingers into it. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a tiny SanDisk. See what's on that. I didn't plug it into the UPS now. £16GB by the looks. Right, just going to bore you while I double check what's on that. ROMs, N64, etc. Ooh, I wonder without that in, what would power up now? Does the Pandora box have licensed stuff? Yes, I know, but I've got my antivirus on. So far, Vanished is not junk. No, I don't use MacBooks. Anthony will tell you, I'm not a fan of Apple in one way at all. See what happens without the just close the blind just to stop the glare. There we go. That should stop a bit of it. See what comes up. It's still shut. Go on then. Dream never ends. Well, that seems to be over. Right. So yeah, it purely relies on the SD card, the USB for its ROMs, which does mean we can put on custom ROMs, which is good. So the Pandora box probably isn't licensed to play all the games then. That's what it appears to be telling me this. I'm curious what that switch does on the back. Tell you what, Anthony knows where I am, so if I turn that switch off when I get next to the shop, then alright. So yeah, that's the on-off switch for the whole unit. Not wired up correctly. Ouch. Well, it's wired up correctly, but it's not wired up to be accessible. Let me... Screwdriver. Ouch. We'll need a screwdriver. Take the back off, just so that it's not in the way while I'm looking at it. So I think what we can do is, I can probably get a couple of streams out of this, not for the fact of dragging it on, but purely for content, in the fact that I can put the better monitor in it. I don't think that's a particularly good monitor, but I have plenty of other monitors if they fit. Now I've taken the official sellotape door off. Yeah, Anthony, give us some good advice. Money's no object for him. He's getting 200k views per video. That's like $300, $400 per video. It's pretty cool. It's so hot. Right, so there's the volume for the speakers. It's got some crappy LED. Oh no, these are switches. Seriously. Okay, so let me just explain what I've just found. They've dismantled the monitor to put the switches inside, which isn't terrible in itself. The volume for the speakers is just there, sort of dangling. The case, at least the Pandora Box 6 is screwed down. This isn't. This isn't. This is not screwed down. This power supply isn't screwed down. And these are just jerry-rigged. So it's definitely a homemade job. It's not a terrible one, but all the cables are wound together with a bit of tape around them. So yeah, there's where we're at with what's in this case. Standard LEDs, no addressable RGB. So my plan here would be, one, get a can of Coke. Whoosh. Can of Coke. Yeah, so my idea here, as an upgrade to do on this, is sort all this out. So get all the cabling correct and properly bound together. I don't like things wrapped in tape, so we've got heat shrink connectors, we've got Wagos, the audio board. It's quite quiet and there's no way of controlling the volume, so I've got to decide now whether it's worth keeping the Pandora 6 in there. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, no, I'm glad for you though, Elliot. You work hard at stuff, you should make money on it. Pandora 6 versus Pi 3. Ow, and I've already got a splinter, I've got a boo-boo. Ouch. Metal shard. That'll be off the hinges. Pandora Box versus Raspberry Pi. Let's have a look at this. So we'll jump over to Reddit because we know Reddit knows what they're talking about. Plan on modifying my Arcade 1 Street Fighter cab. I'm not sure if I want a Pandora Box or Retro Pi. So first answer straight away, Pi over the Pandora Box. Okay. So Mortal Kombat 2, the Pi can handle straight away, but the PlayStation version of Mortal Kombat 2 is on the Pandora 6. The only downside of Pi was the need for an amp to produce sound, but at the end of the day, that's... let me just do this. Which one's which? So you can see me chat while I look at this. You hate to see me talk. the end of the day. Yeah, so in my other cabinet I had a powered speakers with an amplifier in it. I just plugged them into the Pi. The great thing is the Pi then sends a signal. You press to hold the button and go up and down, and it turns the volume up and down. Let's have a look. Powered speaker, that's what I've just said. Pandora. Apparently the Pandora box with 60 to 600 gains is cheaper than the Pi 3, is it? Let's have a look. I'm going to have a look off stream just in case. Type in Pandora's box, you might end up with some porn. Shopping. So the Pandora's arcade machine, which is just an output and keyboard, joypad, these things, 150. But I'm not seeing the Pandora box on its own. Oh, there we go. 95 quid. So already, just based on that hardware in there, I've made a yay. Monitor, I'm not too fussed about that monitor. That is a clunky piece of junk. I would swap that out for one of the slimline ones, like the one at the back there on that. It's about the same size. Let me find my tape measure. That's not a tape measure, that's a packet of sweeteners. Well, that's the point. I've not made my coffee on stream for 2 times. What time are we on? It's not even 3 o'clock. I thought it was much later than that. I'm not sure where the tape measure is. You know what? I'm just going to go and get the monitor and just hold it up to it and see. Oh, nearly forgot. Hey, Elliot, pro streamer. Right. It's not the Electronic Life soundtrack, it's just a cool song I found online. I thought I quite liked it. So these are the monitors I was hoping to use. Look how thin they are. Like, wafer thin. Unfortunately, too damn big. So, I won't be messing with the monitor for now. 720 monitor in there. It's big and cumbersome. But let's face it, once this unit's in a place where it's going to live, I'm not going to move it much. But let's see what the Pi has got in it, by the way. Well, that's the Pi 10th gen. Pandora box. Ah, there we go. That's got pins on the side. That doesn't. Part of me wants to take that out now. Proper look. It doesn't bode well when you find connectors loose without any wires on. I mean, let's face it, nobody wants to find bits of metal flying around. But that's the point, I didn't hear a fan. Just remember me saying I didn't hear a fan. And this thing's got a fan on it, so I'm going to plug it in and see what happens. think that fan's spinning. Switch it back to the other one. But keep forgetting I've got buttons now.
Sex. Breathe never ends.
Is it spinning? Yes, it is. So there is a small fan on it. Tiny heat shrink on the processor. It's not the best setup. Although what's nice about it, it does have 3 USB inputs, a HDMI, a VGA, and it's got its own volume on board. That's quite cool. I mean, as home builds go, it's not too bad. I'm not terribly upset that there's not too much work to do to fix that. Okie dokie, lights off. Yeah, so there's some damage to the cabinet, but I have a feeling it's a standard size, which means I'll be able to buy some new stickers. Yo, cool. Yeah, I'll be able to buy some new stickers for it, which would instantly improve the cabinet. If I pull off all this banding around the edge, give it a good clean and re-glue it on, that'll work as well. There's a bit of splitting. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Okay. I thought it was a bit of splitting at the bottom, but it's actually a line in the MDF. This has got a lot of potential. I think I will switch it out for the Pi though, the Retro Pi. The benefits of that is, one, it's probably going to run a lot cooler. Runs on 5 volts. You can control everything from it, including the line output to amplified speakers. So maybe I'll replace these speakers. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just get a small amplifier board. Because again, AliExpress secret. Not AliExpress secret. I just read the word secret. Someone's called secret. AliExpress special. It's a couple of quid. Even on Amazon, I think it's only a couple of quid for a soundboard. Let me have a look. Audio amplifier board. Oh, £4. Wrong one. Yeah, 4 quid. Look at that. That's nothing. So easily drive those speakers with that. Is it operating one? There we go. Audio output, mute, a ground. Why would you have a ground? 5 volt power. So yeah, a 5 volt system in here running a Pi and many other things. That's your audio, your Pi. The monitor will be 240, which isn't the end of the world. I should just make that a button, shouldn't I? That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Do you want to see how I make it a button? So just while I'm thinking about it. So I need the monitor that shows up on screen, which is the monitor that you're on now. I need that as a scene. So all I do is I create a new scene and call it monitor. ElectronicLife picture-in-picture. here. Now I add the scene, instead of having the monitor here, which I can delete, remove that, I can add the scene monitor view. Okay. And as you can see the monitor view. If I drop that below my logos, because you can't not have a logo on, I now have control, because I can do on, let's go back to turn monitor view on view. On monitor view now, I can go. I am quiet at the second. I am very quiet at the second. I'm just figuring it out. I know it goes quiet when I'm off. So. Oh, it's been getting all carried away thinking I could just do that. I know how to do it with the zoom in and stuff. But as for turning it on and off with a keystroke, don't know just yet. So anyway, let's just go back to what it was. Boop. Hey. Right, where was I? Pull that back over here. Yeah, so sticking an amplifier in it's cool. I do also have a ton of look how many D's I put in there. Hey, I think it does that. Dressable. Anyway, I've got a load of these which allow me to turn one off, one on, and I can do really cool effects around the side of the cabinet. So that'll be good. Let's go back to that one, monitor view off. Yeah, as it is, it's just got a crappy blue LED in. Now I've shrunk everything down. I can't see what people are saying. So I've got everyone in the room. What are we doing anyway? UOG, you can't fall off. How are you all finding the creator badges then? I know Elliot's doing quite well out of his first video. Showing off his badge. It's pretty cool. Right. So, let's have a check what other stuff is amazing. Do they go crazy in the lobbies for it? You wait until one of you lot start impersonating the other one of you lot. What are all these movies for each one? See, I knew it would happen, Elliot. Everyone's like, oh, we need a badge, we need a badge. I'm like, what's to stop Styled Snail being Elliot for a day? Right. There's a lot of stuff in this. There's a lot of stuff I know is dodgy, so I do have to be careful with that. Obviously, as it is, it's how I brought it out of the shop. I've not installed anything on it. I'm taking no responsibility for what's on it. This is purely making sure it works. Best not plug a USB in while it's on. This is purely making sure it works. And deciding what I'm going to do next. Let me get the sound right as well. It's too quiet. So that would be that way, I think.
About sex. Breathe never ends.
It's quite loud. What's it running off? £12 volts, 5 amp. So again, not terrible. Nothing to write home about, but I can't tell where that was Velcro to. It was originally Velcro to somewhere. Yeah, that's convenient Velcro up there. Ah, there it was. It probably didn't help it with me carrying it around, lugging it over my shoulder. Do I have a video? I'll show you the video actually of the addressable LEDs and the cool stuff they can do, because I did send it to Mr. Anthony. Bob. Should I fold it? Okay. Just going to turn desktop audio on for this one. So yeah, I've got some addressable LEDs, and one of my favourite effects that I like on it is it fires a white dot up a straight line and then colours. It's called Fireworks 1D. And why is that making noises? Right, it's just doing a demo, running through each game and then making a noise when it switches. Yeah, so it fires and it goes all the way around and it looks pretty. I'm going to drop the volume on the video because it's got some copyright music in the background. Did I just get that fly? Got the fly as well. It's my day. So yeah, with the addressable LEDs you can do cool stuff like this. Whee! So if you imagine that was all stretched out, that'd be beautiful. There's nothing to stop me finding some way of putting that around the outside or even inside the back here, inside the back here, to give it some real colour control rather than just pulsing colour. Pulsing colour is boring. I expect better. I expect better in life. I'm not just going to accept pulse through colours anymore. I want it to twinkle like fireworks. So I'd probably do a series of strips in a bar. So it'll end up being like a 17 pixel by 30, and then I can control each pixel. Oh, Anthony sent me a video of his. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I'll show you Anthony's video. He's just sent me it. This is Anthony's one. As you can see, it fires the white dot round and it just explodes into colour. Absolutely gorgeous. See, I'm trusting Anthony here. I don't know what's put in this video. So imagine that around the inside, the firework. I doubt I'll be able to rig it up to if you win in a game or anything like that, but I can probably make it sound reactive at least to the speakers. I was telling someone today that I cheated with my last cabinet. At the back up here, from the pound shop, they did all these little twinkly lights, and they ran on 2 1.5 volt batteries. So to anyone that knows, that's 3 volts. So I wired it up to the 5 volts USB, and it just worked fine. So I ran that off the back of the Pi. So every time the Pi turned on, they turned on, but it was a sound reactive board. And it was right near one of the speakers, so obviously you're playing the game and the colours change every time there's a pow, 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 pow. Because I can't stand just pulsing lights. Look at that. It's just going, you can't really tell. It's a bit washed out on the camera. It's just pulsing through the colours. Boring as hell. Boop. Yeah. They're super easy to make. I should do a video on them. There's plenty of videos out there on them. You get the little node NCUs, which are about half the size of a pie. They run off 5 volts. You connect the data wire to the pin that you're supposed to connect it to, 5 and 12, 5 and ground for mine. And then you flash the node NCU software on it and select which pin's which, tell it how many LEDs there are, and it does the rest. It's pretty clever. He sent me more stuff. Yes, let's put that up. So yeah, the node NCU. Tiny thing. Boop. I just realised you can see our grinny faces at the bottom. So, like I say, exploratory video I think is done. I'm not going to do too much now. It's 3:15 for me. There is a game test for me to do shortly, so I'm going to be jumping in on that. The next stream I'm going to plan on taking the Pandora box out, setting up the Pi Arcade and tidying up the wiring. So I'm going to order that soundboard and let's get it all working. And I'll do that next week on Wednesday. That's the plan anyway. Will I do the LEDs then? Probably not. I will have to order some more. I do have some sound control bars that bloop, 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 and you just set the pattern that you want and it looks pretty, but they don't automatically turn on. So I would want to do the node NCU with set defaults every time it powers on. And anyway, catch you all later. It's been great seeing all of you in the chat, and there's been quite a lot of you today. And have fun, everyone. Cheers for joining me. Catch you next week. See you all.